Hi everyone. So I'm gonna give yeah
Start directly in the mic itself.
in the mic.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll hear directly in their earphones.
Yeah.
That's just good to go, right?
Hi everyone. So I'm gonna be doing a quick talk on understanding ag layer. So before we talk about blockchain, I just want to talk a little bit about the history of internet and how internet started. So even in the internet all also started very fragmented. There were many different computer networks. It was all disconnected in the beginning, and there was no way to communicate with one network to the other network. So it all started in the fragmented way. You can see in this picture there was ARPANET, BitNet, CSNet, and Telenet, and what all other networks. So it all started in a fragmented way, and how are we trying to solve this problem? It was solved by unified protocols like TCP and IP protocol. They acted as like the packet transport and the common standards to deploy anything on the internet. So even the Wi-Fi, the video chat, the message chat, the email, everything on the web was deployed on two unified protocol, the TCP protocol and the IP protocol. Even in the Web3 world, we deliver the same sort of challenges. Everything in Web3 is fragmented. There we have scalability issues, we have security issues, and obviously we have UX issues. Now, how are we going around to solve it? The current scenario is that we can't beat the NASDAQ. Obviously, we want that anything in Web3 should be as big as possible in the Web2 world, because Web2 took over Web1, and we want Web3 to take over Web2 as well. But we see that in NASDAQ we have up to 250 kTps speed, but in any other blockchain, be it in L1 or L2, the scaling is done in a way that it's only to maybe 700 TPS and not more than that, or 800, maybe at 1000, but not at 250. So to beat that, how can we do this? We need to solve the scalability, we need to solve the fragmentation, and we need to solve the UX to onboard the next 1 billion people. So, what are the potential solutions that we can think about? Are monolithic chains the solutions? So, monolithic chains, the problem is they are not fast enough. Any chains can be monolithic, but they are not fast enough. Then it comes to modular chains. Modular chains like Polygon ZK EVM, Polygon POS, even ZK Sync Era, Arbitrum 1, these are all modular chains. Layer 1s, layer L2s trying to solve the scalability issue. Yes, they have solved the scalability issues, but the Web3 is still very fragmented. Then the only solution that we could think about is, how about we bring all of the chains together? So this is the aggregated universe, or a aggregated Web3 that we are talking about today. You can see the monolithic, aggregated, and the modular in the photo here. So when all of them are combined, we get aggregated. So because we have different multiple L2s and L1, we have fragmentation of liquidity. For example, if you're on a non-EVM chain, you will need a different wallet. And if I am on an EVM chain, I'll need a different wallet. So that sort of aggregates and fragmentation of liquidity. So we have three pillars in decentralization: security and scalability. Once we want all of the threes, we have to aggregate all the blockchains together. So, what is an aggregated blockchain? We have been talking about ag layer, but to understand aggregated blockchain, it's very simple that it's a horizontally scalable multi-chain networks. So these days, it's not as easy to spin up a new chain, but I am sure in the future that we are looking at with the AI at scope is going to be very simple to spin up a new chain. So that is what we are bullish about, and it's going to be horizontally scalable network. So what is ag layer? Ag layer is Polygon's effort that we are trying to make cross-chain settlement layer that can unify liquidity, user accounts, and state of all the aggregated chains. Once all of these states are sent in their own different blockchain, we send and we post the finality to Ethereum, the layer 1. So get aggregated. Ag layer is obviously solving the scalability problem, but apart from solving scalability, it is also solving the fragmented liquidity problem. So what it does is it unifies all the liquidity. You can see in the diagram I have CDK chain, I have ZK EVM, I have immutable ZK EVM, and I have Polygon ZK EVM. Then all of these chains go to the aggregation layer, and then the finality is finally posted to the Ethereum layer 1. So how does the architecture of ag layer looks like? We have different CDK chains sitting on the top, and then there is the pessimistic proofs, then the proof aggregation, and then we have a unified bridge contract, and then the Ethereum. So the one of the biggest misconception when we talk about interoperability, or when we talk about unifying the fragmentation, we just assume that we are doing it to a bridge. But ag layer is not just a bridge. Ag layer has many different components, one of them being pessimistic proofs, proof aggregation, and we'll see that in the next slide. But what it does is it blends most of the monolithic and modular chain to provide a UX that from a front-end user's perspective feels like using a single chain. So you could send assets from a non-EVM chain to an EVM chain seamlessly without the user knowing that you are using two different accounts. Now, how does it really happen? How does it really work behind the scenes? Is there are four potential different components that are involved in making this happen. One of them is pessimistic proof, the second is proof aggregation, and the third is unified bridge, which is what people think that ag layer is all about, just the unified bridge. And the fourth is fast interop. So pessimistic proof, starting with pessimistic proofs, that is a security layer that, for example, if I am deploying or if I am withdrawing 10 ETH, I cannot withdraw more than that, because the amount that is already there in a chain is the amount that has to be come back. So how does it work? Pessimistic proofs are very pessimistic in nature, in the sense that I am only trusting the chain I am on. I am not trusting any other bridge, and I'm also not trusting the chain that I'm getting assets from. So it works in a pessimistic way. The second portion of this is proof aggregation. This helps in sort of lowering the cost, because you as a chain gets the customizability to decide when do you want to send the proof to Ethereum, be it in 2 seconds or be it in 2 days. That customization makes sure that how many transactions that you are going to have, that is going to lower the cost, because you can send all of the proofs in an aggregated way all at once. The third major component is unified bridge. In unified bridge, we talk about fungible tokens. I have a workshop also called bridge and call. So you can see that, and you could understand that how bridge and call method is working, and how we can it basically eliminates the need to wrap and unwrap tokens, so that we can get a unified experience from the user's end perspective. The fourth and the most important thing is fast interop. So it is basically assumed that ag layer is dependent on the final layer 1, that is Ethereum, and it cannot give a faster transaction as Ethereum, because obviously we need to send the proof to Ethereum, but that is not the case. We can also give faster transactions before it is even finalized on Ethereum, because we are using something called pre-confirmation status as transaction to lower the latency of all the transactions. Coming to the benefits, I'm not going to go too deep into the benefits, because we already have a lot of ecosystem apps deployed, so you could check that out. But some of the major benefits are messaging, and one of the key benefits that everybody is talking these days is chain abstraction. But when I say interoperability, or when I say we are solving the issue of fragmentation, people just assume that it's a chain abstraction solution, but that is not the case. We are talking about safe cross-chain transaction, native tokens, and also compatibility. So right now, ag layer is only compatible with Polygon CDK chain, but going ahead, even in the month of December and January 1st month, we are going to go ahead with some of the Optimism chains, and also some of the non-EVM Solana based chains. So it's not going to be just EVM bridging, but non-EVM to EVM bridging as well. And we already talked about low latency and how fast the transactions could be, because we are using the pre-confirmed state of the transaction. One of the key use case that I'll be discussing is cross-chain native token transfer. So how that happens is it happens using a unified bridge contract. So a user can send Ethereum from Polygon ZK EVM to immutable ZK EVM and then receive the exact same Ethereum rather than just a wrapped token like ETH token. So other use case that we would be talking is bridge and call. So after bridging an asset, a new action can be executed right after bridging. So user can send ETH from Polygon ZK EVM to immutable ZK EVM in the same transaction and also buy an NFT on another non-EVM chain in the same transaction as well. So this is something that we have not seen before and is super exciting. So in the Unified Bridge plus Ag Layer version 1, we upgraded the bridge to support many CDK chains and we did cross-chain assets to move through bridge, and we also improved the security. But in the Ag Layer version 2, we did aggregated proofs for faster transactions and lower cost. We also enabled the fast path and we lowered the cost because bridge is only receiving one proof at a time. That is also customizable. So the next thing comes, what can you bridge? People assumes that I'm talking about just fundamental or fungible asset, but that is not the case. You can send Ethereum and you can also withdraw USDT from different layer like X layer from OKX and then deposit it to Yearn. So that could also work together. This is the workshop called Bridge and Call. You can scan this QR code if you want to get to the workshop to see like how a unified bridge and call function looks like, and you can also build on this. So this is how currently the landscape of Ag Layer ecosystem looks like. It's growing as we speak. So we have Ag chains, we have core contributors, and we have RAS providers. RAS is nothing but roll up as a service. So we have different Ag chains like Polygon POS is one of them, but non-EVM chains like Movement Labs and other chains are also, even TON applications are also there. The core contributors apart from Polygon Labs, we have Octo, we have Succinct, we have Third Web, and RAS as a roll-up provider. Gelato is doing a great work in providing us a roll-up so that we can execute transactions. So this is majorly it. I have included a QR code at the end of the slide to see all the GitHub repository of Ag Layer so that you can start building on it. We are looking forward to more CDK chains. You can spin up a new CDK chain in minutes. So that is also a thing that is excited about. Thank you so much, and I'll hand over the stage.
Thank you, Reet. And next up, we have Akash Balasubramani from Starknet. He's an ecosystem manager, and he'll be briefing us about mastering the basics and deploying your first smart contract. Thank you.